been performing really well. And on that note, we'll move on to the other new team who's joining LSG at the top of the table, the Gujarat Titans. Um, Gujarat Titans, in my opinion, and I think you guys too, they didn't have a great auction, but they've been punching above their weight. They've had a couple of stumbles in the last few games, but I think they're comfortably in the top four and possibly you're going to finish top two also. Um, and one thing that's been really good for them in the back half compared to their first half is uh, Rhythm and Saha. Before they had Matthew Wade, he was not performing at all. But now Rhythm and Saha is giving really good starts at the bat. He's striking it around 160 in the power play. He's averaging close to 50 in the power play. I mean, what else can you ask for an opener? And he's one of the best keepers in the world. So I think Rhythm and Saha is really doing something for them.
Other than Rhythm and Saha, I think Shubman Gill plays an off innings here and there. I don't think we've seen him consistently like hit the big runs like over a series of 3 to 4 games. But he has hit a 50 in their last game against Mumbai, though he failed against the Punjab Kings. Other than that, I think Hardik Pandya's form has tapered off quite a bit. He's batting at 3 and 4 this time. It's a different role for him. And like I don't know if that's a like he batted really well at the start of the season, but off late his form has tapered off, especially after the injury break he had, and he stopped bowling too, which has kind of curtailed Gujarat's bowling options. However, they've still done quite a good job with their bowling unit with the resurgence of Alzari Joseph. He didn't play at the start of the season, but he's come back into the side and he's bowling quite well. He's been among the wickets. Other than that, you obviously have a trio of key bowlers in Shami, Rashid Khan, and Lockie Ferguson, all of whom have been quality for the Gujarat Titans and have brought them so far. If you look a bit further than that, Pradeep Sangwan, as we talked about last time, uh, he was out of the IPL for a long time, and now he's come back and he's bowling quite well. He had quite exemplary figures against the Mumbai Indians. And in case the bowler doesn't bowl well, you always have Rahul Tewatia to turn to, and Hardik Pandya if he ever is fit to bowl. So I think Gujarat Titans have a solid side at the moment. Vijay Shankar didn't work out, so they've gone to Sai Sudarshan, and Sai Sudarshan has performed. Miller, Tewatia, Rashid forming the finishing trio is quite solid, and Saha, Gill, Hardik Pandya to start things off. If Hardik Pandya hits the form he did at the start of the season, I think Gujarat have a great chance of going for the title run.
Yeah, I mean, Gujarat's batting is really shaping up to look good, particularly with Vijay Shankar out of the team. You know, a team always looks better that doesn't have Vijay Shankar in it. And Sai Sudarshan hit a couple of knocks, but that's not really the point. As you said, as Rehan mentioned, Ridhiman Saha doing very well. Shubman Gill's able to get knocks here and there, not as consistent, but still. I don't they shouldn't have lost that match to Mumbai. That was just not that wasn't something they should lose, especially considering both of the openers scored half centuries. Hardik Pandya got run out. Okay, that's fine. Miller and Tewatia, it was a very good last over from Sam's, but we'll talk about that more when we get to Mumbai. But you know, I feel like Miller and Tewatia definitely should have finished it. Tewatia obviously got a run out in that game, but yeah, I think despite them losing to Mumbai, they still look like a very good team. Their batting still looks strong. Obviously, we've talked about it being because of the middle order. They have, as much as it surprises me to say it, Miller and Tewatia are like the most I in my opinion, I would trust them the most out of any finishing lineup right now to get the job done, because they've done it time and time again for the Gujarat Titans this season. So that's been fantastic, and I think they're on a bit of a losing streak, but they're definitely top two in my opinion. I think GT and LSG are definitely top two. RR will come in third, as we talked about.
Yeah, like Om mentioned, Hardik, since his injury, he hasn't bowled at all, actually. And he's played 5 games. In 2 out of the 5 games, he performed well. With the other 3, he didn't. One was a run out, of course, as Vivin mentioned. But I think Hardik not bowling is actually hurting them more than many people realize. Because if Hardik Pandya bowls, they can actually play an extra batsman. They don't need to play someone like Pradeep Sangwan, because right now their 5 and 6 is Miller and Tewatia, and I think it'll actually help if obviously they dropped Abhinav Manohar, which I don't get why he performed with his role at number 7, and I think he should be batting higher anyways. But if Hardik Pandya bowls, they can bring in Manohar back. They can maybe try batting him at 4, bat Pandya at 5, which I think is ideal for him, because at 4, I think he needs to build an innings more, be responsible. At 5, he can actually just come and strike at 190 or whatever. Then Miller 6, and Tewatia 7, and Rashid 8, which I think is a more steady batting lineup. And I think they would want Hardik Pandya to get into bowling form as soon as possible. I know Vivin mentioned Vijay Shankar being out. I think they put too much trust in him at the auction. And I don't think they really planned for their number 3 really well, because Vijay Shankar failed, and now they have an untested player in Sai Sudarshan. I know he scored a 50, but I'm still not sure if that's a really good number 3 option for them. So I think that's a weak point, and I think Hardik Pandya not bowling is hurting them a bit. I mean, it's not shown up yet, but I think it could possibly hurt them in the future.
It always baffles me why teams are still backing Vijay Shankar. He's become Tamil Nadu's captain as well. But I was
He
surprised.
plays well for Tamil Nadu.
Huh?
He actually plays well for Tamil Nadu, though.
Yeah, but he's never performed at the what do you say? At the
IPL.
IPL level. At the IPL level at all. Like for Sunrise Hyderabad, he was like he didn't even show a glimpse of his potential or whatnot, right? Even for India, he had a couple of good innings, a couple of good bowling outings, but then he's never really shown that he's built for this level, even though he's had good domestic performances or whatnot. So I was actually quite surprised that teams went for him that way in the auction when there were so many other options. And I thought actually Gujarat could remove Shankar and play Sadrangani at the top, but that didn't happen, and he's been dropped, and that's actually not very fair to him. But it's how it goes.
Yeah, Vijay Shankar, actually, if you look at the stats, he had a good 2018 season, but after that, each season, he's been performing worse and worse and worse. And it's just not working for Vijay Shankar at this level. It's almost like he doesn't perform in the important moments, because even for Tamil Nadu, in the last 2 tournaments, in Vijay Hazare and in Said Mushtaq Ali, he's been amazing in the league stage, but as soon as the semi-finals and finals come, he's not been performing. So whenever teams need him to set up, whether it be India, Sunrisers, Delhi, or Gujarat now, and even Tamil Nadu, he's not been doing it. But yeah, Vivin, you mentioned the game versus MI where they couldn't chase 8 runs in the final over. Let's talk.